Now, let's get back to our disastrous green energy transition. We've shown you environmental concerns about trees being cleared in Queensland to make way for giant wind farms. And then there's tourism operators up in arms in Newcastle over multi-billion-dollar plans for gigantic offshore wind farms. And lobster farmers or fishermen in South Australia revolting against a wind farm off the coast feeding power into Victoria. Well, now residents in Goulburn in New South Wales in the Southern Tablelands have formed a group protesting against BP's plans actually for a 740,000 panel solar farm across 700 hectares. Stan Moore is a farmer whose property will be abutted by this massive solar farm. I asked how he found out about the plans.
Oh, well, I found out, and I don't think I was supposed to. I went to a meeting in town and it was leaked by somebody, and that was effectively, I think, the 1st of April 22. And so we immediately got into action and advised our neighbours, and I did a box drop to some 42 surrounding properties, those who I thought might be impacted by this, and we ended up getting a small group out of that together, and we've been fighting it ever since.
So it turned out not to be an April Fool's joke. How did you get more information from the company about exactly what was planned, and describe to us what is planned?
Well, it took a while because I think they were caught on the hop that we actually found out. But then they put together a community information bulletin which had a lot of, should I say, not necessarily truthful comments. What it is, it's a 7 square kilometre property, that's 700 hectares, or nearly 1,600 acres in the old school. They're proposing to put excess of 740,000 5-metre high solar panels on it, plus 154 batteries and inverter systems. Each one of those is the size of a 40-foot shipping container sitting on a big concrete slab.
So they're effectively putting a solar factory next to your farm with an amazing amount of infrastructure installed there. It's going to change the landscape completely. What other, apart from the visual aspect, what are you worried about?
Well, we've on the Gundary Plains, we're very aware of bushfires or grass fires. When they do start and go through here, they're catastrophic. The local bushfire brigade says they are not prepared to go onto the solar site because of the risk of entrapment on that site. And so they must let it burn through, and they burn so fast on this country, there's just no hope of saving it.
Look, I'm not surprised about your concern about the risks of starting a bushfire, let alone that consideration of whether or not firefighters can go in there safely, but also the changing visual landscape in your area and the fact that you weren't consulted initially. I understand your concerns. We're seeing this sort of problem with renewable projects right around the country. Have you got a committed group there that are determined to stop this, or is there any way it could be changed or modified to satisfy you?
Well, I would find it hard to change it to satisfy when you've got 65 families in this local area who will be impacted by it. Whether it be the noise, the dust through construction, the ongoing operational noise, the lighting, and also just the general destruction of the rural view and vista in this area.
Thanks for joining us, Stan. Keep us updated on any progress.
My pleasure.